So the Daniel Penny verdict just came out, and I haven't even had time to really go back and look at some of the information about it again or really read into the verdict all that much. I just wanted to get on here and talk candid with you guys a little bit about this. So I remember this interview with Carrie Lake and Eric Trump, and this whole thing around Donald Trump's mugshot and them basically saying that he resonated with the black community because they understood him more because he was treated unfairly by the justice system. And Eric Trump basically said that, black support for Donald Trump went up because black people are like, hey, they're doing to this guy what they've done to us in this country. And Eric Trump said for the last 15 years, but obviously we all know this has been forever. And that whole thing pissed me off because my thing with that was that when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling and other NFL athletes and athletes around this country were taking a stand against the justice system that was unfair to us, none of those people agreed. In fact, Donald Trump wanted Colin Kaepernick to lose his job. In fact, he basically put out a warning to these owners of these teams that they better make all of these black athletes stand up and salute the flag and sing the national anthem. None of them during that time said, maybe we should talk to black people about this. Maybe there's something to this. Maybe the justice system is unfair to them. No one wanted to have that conversation with these athletes. No one wanted to have that conversation with us. In fact, they disagreed. The entire time, they were basically saying, just comply. If black people would just comply, they wouldn't have this problem. But then when Donald Trump gets indicted and he says, all of these things are unfair, the justice system is two-tiered, they're doing this to me, and then he said black people resonated with him more because of that. So now we have this Daniel Penny verdict. You have a black man on a subway who was basically being loud, saying some mean things, but had not put his hands on anyone when Daniel Penny decided to jump on his back, put him in a chokehold, and choke him until he was breathless. And now he's been found not guilty of this murder. You will not see one Republican, you will not see Donald Trump or Eric Trump say that this is proof of the two-tier justice system. You will not see them say anything about black people being treated unfairly in the justice system. You will more than likely see them saying justice was served. This is why I speak so much about the black conservative and black Republican in this country, because they're being used as pawns and as tokens, and these types of verdicts and the silence that you will get from Republicans and Donald Trump and his family just shows you that when they were saying black people resonate with them more because they're seeing Donald Trump be treated unfairly like we have been, when they were saying that, this shows you this was just all show. This was a political play that seems to have worked, and the people left holding the bag are us. We're the ones who have to suffer through this. We're the ones who have to just grin and bear it. We're the ones who have to deal with it. Now, there have been some calls for vigilante justice. There have been some pretty impassioned speeches given since this verdict. And again, I've watched a couple of things and I haven't really delved deep into it. And maybe I'll make another video once I do. But people are tired. We've been tired, and we've asked for justice, and we've marched, and we've done everything that we can for years now. And when you hear people calling for vigilante justice, because make no mistake about it, that's exactly what they're saying Daniel Penny was. They're saying Daniel Penny was a vigilante who gave justice, and they're saying it was warranted justice, right? When you hear people calling for vigilante justice, when you hear black people saying that, when you hear black people saying they're tired, when you see black people doing things in the streets that you might disagree with, understand, we've talked a lot. I've made videos a lot. I've gone to BLM marches. I've gone to marches against violence. We've done all of that. What do we do? What do we do to expect a justice system to treat us like they treat everyone else? What do we do? Honest question, because there was a point one time when I was with my daughter at a BLM rally, and she was, I think she was in her freshman year of college, maybe her senior year of high school. And I said, we marched and everything, and we were in our town. And I said, okay, it's time for us to go. And then my daughter said, I said to her, it's time for us to go because I noticed that some people were starting to get a little bit angry, and there was a chance there was going to be some violence, or if nothing else, some looting or some tearing up of property or whatever going on. So I said, it's time for us to go. And my daughter looks at me and she says, maybe we shouldn't leave. And I said, no, we're going to leave. And she said, but maybe this is what we need to do to be heard. Maybe, being a little bit violent or disrupting, the system a little bit, disrupting people's lives is what's going to cause us to get justice. And I was pretty upset at her because I had raised her to be someone who was a critical thinker, to do logical, to make the logical decision. But sitting here now, I understand more what she meant, because I've always been a critical thinker. I've always tried to make the right decision. I've always thought, nonviolence is the way to go. And not saying that I don't still think that way, but now I totally understand where she was coming from, because she was someone who was young, who had read the history, right? She had seen the history, read the history, been a part of it. And she was just saying, I've seen what you guys have done. I've seen, the marches. I've seen the nonviolent protest. I've seen you guys go to city council meetings and go to the state capitol. I've seen you write the letters. None of that has worked. So maybe we should try something different. And I remember telling her, we're going to go home and we're going to talk about this. And we got in our car and we went home, and I told her, listen, I understand I know you're frustrated, right? I understand your frustration, but we are a family that, I raised you to use your brain and to be a nonviolent person. And listen, I still stand by that. I'm not telling anyone to go out and do anything violent or anything like that, but I really have to ask, what? What do we do? What do we do? Period.
Don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in they heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.